Welcome back to another episode of Spheres of Influence People You Need to Know. I am Daniel Winton, and I'm so thankful that you have taken your time to join us again today. Our mission again is to facilitate meaningful discussions with people who shape industries and communities. Through engaging interviews and thought provoking content, we strive to provide our audience with actionable insights, expert advice, and valuable connections. Sphere of Influence seeks to be a trusted resource for individuals seeking to expand their knowledge and their network and opportunities on their personal and professional journeys. And if you are interested in government contracting, or understanding how the government works, I have the perfect all-star guest that you're going to meet today. Lachrishsa Parker, come on in here. I'd like to introduce everyone to you. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Daniel, for having me.
Oh, you are quite welcome. Everyone wants to get into government contracting, and it's just like this vast wilderness that people certainly have no clue and no understanding on how to navigate that. And I know, and first of all, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your service, all the things that you have done for this country and that you continue to do regarding veterans, women's veterans. And we're going to be going over all of that today. But one of the things I wanted to do before we get into your nonprofit, I'd like to talk to you about the stresses and the rigor of military life, because people need to understand the folks that they're going to be dealing with is not just like going to Kmart and okay, we're going to put something on some shelves. How should these people? Well, just tell us a little bit about your background regarding the military. Let's just start there.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you recognizing and my service. I am Lachrishsa Parker, and I have served 28 years in the Army with reserves, 8 years in reserve, and the other it is doing AGR, which is Active Guard Reserve, Title 10. And I started in it's funny and ironic. My twin sister, who joined the Army before I did, she went off and with our friends, and then I went into Indiana University. I thought I was doing something really good and playing basketball and running track at Indiana University, but I soon found out that I didn't have the grades. It was much of a party scene. So I ended up joining the Army, Army Reserves, and of course, my mother couldn't pay for school all that time, and the scholarship has ended real fast. And I enjoyed the military. I enjoyed it so much, as my twin sister was telling me when she was in Germany, that it's the life is good, and we were pretty much caught up in the military arena with my grandfather being in the Navy. So we kind of had that background of military, and I loved it. I love the 8 years of Army Reserves. I love the fact that I was already disciplined enough with being in sports and doing a lot of, as we call it in the Army, KP, kitchen patrol, doing all these dishes in my household because we had a large family, especially during the holiday. So the military was really good to me. It was a time where I found my tribe, good friends, hard work though. When you're preparing for basic training, you have to be in shape. I could tell you
Right?
that, or else the Army will keep you in shape. I love the fact, because I was an athlete, I was prepared.
Okay.
Mentally, I didn't know some of the obstacles and challenges, but that's where you have your battle buddy. And I tell you, I after those 8 years in the reserves, I loved it. I was a single parent, and I didn't know where working two and three jobs was not cutting it for me
Right.
as, as a single parent and trying to take a class. So you have to be really wanting to do these things. And I have a love for my country. as I stated before, with my grandfather. And so active duty had me at hello, and hadn't looked back at it, ever
Right.
since. But I can tell you this, Daniel, that being in the Army, especially as a female, you have your ebbs and flows. You have
Right.
those good and bad. And then also being a female of color, trying to do the best, as the old slogan, be all you can be in the Army. And
Right.
that's what I wanted to do. Um, but I did not let a lot of the negativity stop me from being that and who I am today. Uh,
Okay.
and the mindset, it's not for everybody. I can tell you that the Army isn't for everyone. Um, I met my husband in the Army,
Okay.
and he was a recruiter. We met in Ohio. Go Ohio! Go Ohio! And so we building that lasting relationship with battle buddies, as I stated before, it made it easy. You were part of a family. A fraternity or sorority was the Army, and they kept your back and your
Okay.
family right at any given time. And so you're dealing with a lot of um, pressure at a
Okay.
high pace in the Army, and it's hurry up and wait, but getting things done in a small amount of time. And so it just really shaped me of who I am today. So I would tell anybody who wants to join the military, please do that, to find out who you are and give you structure in your life as well.
Excellent. When someone is actually seeking that government contract, because I know you worked in the executive branch of the military, kind of define what that buyer's agent looks like. How as a civilian should I position myself to deal with someone that you worked with every day?
Oh, great question. So, I think for me, I'm going to say this for me, especially in that space of the C-suite, as we call it,
Right.
and then also on that level, your clientele, and being patient. From transitioning from the Army to into the contracting world, I didn't know what I didn't know, but
Right.
being patient with myself and learning what you really know and use your skills. And that's what I did as executive administrator and assistant for general officers in the Army. Um, I know how to speak the language, what
Okay.
you're comfortable with, um, and getting to know who you are and what you're able to do and give back 100%. I think that's the big part too for me, speaking the language, because I can't go and speak a language of, say, for instance, trucking or construction. I don't
Right.
know that language, so I can't adhere to that. But I can speak my language that I have and those soft skills. Soft skills are now almost obsolete.
Right.
So to transfer that over, and then also knowing who you want to target, that's most important, with all of your who you want to contract with, your partners, because we have, for me, being a female, minority, disabled veteran,
Right.
women owned, um, a lot of uh, a lot of people come after you, but you have to know your clients and know your audience of who you're trying to dance with, as Michelle Gardner has said. Gardner
Right.
East said, know who you dance with, and know your partner. And so it's a good thing if you're starting out to find out, of course, your niche.
Okay.
As you start your niche, then continue to um, start interviewing those people that you want to, and companies that you really want to go after. If you don't know, just continue your journey every day and start learning. It's a process, it's not easy. And
Right.
I can tell you this, Daniel, some wise words that Lori has given me. It's just, don't rush to failure.
Okay.
and that's Lauren
Okay.
Smith. And she's also a veteran, military veteran female and entrepreneur. And those were some words that I have taken to heart.
Okay.
Don't rush to failure when you come to building yourself and knowing who you want as far as the contracting world is.
All right. And I definitely want people out there in TV land to understand more about you and more about the things that you do and the reasons why they should contact you. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a small break. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a really special thing. We're going to show you a video. So after the video, we'll be right back. But we're going to take a small break and let you see exactly Lachrishsa Parker. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate that.
So so what was that? What were you doing in that video?
Wow. That was my next chapter that
Okay.
I had just retired that year from the
Okay.
military, from the army. And I had a supervisor that said that I should try this competition. And it was Miss Veteran America. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm not doing the beauty pageant. That's not me.
Okay.
I'm not doing that particular competition. And so after I retired, I asked God for a year to give me grace and kind of decompress.
Okay.
And my supervisor asked, she sent this like 3 times. And I said, okay, let me check it out. So the competition was it was about women veterans and those that are still in, but homeless women veterans, in
Okay.
raising money and awareness of homeless women veterans. And the thing was, that was me. And so hence,
Okay.
this is why the that song was so appropriate. And I had, like I said, being a single parent, and I was in the reserves at the time. I was
Right.
couch surfing as the definition of homelessness, and which was the fastest growing segment of women was women
Okay.
veterans, being homeless. And so, with that, that was basically my coming out of in next chapter, that I had to tell my story and had to really come with grips with myself and
Okay.
being honest with myself. And so you see
Wow.
the different uniforms that I was wearing. The Wonder Woman, we are Wonder Woman as women, in that we wear so many hats. And so I had so many different uniforms on. I cut up
Right.
the uniform, with the boots and the fatigues and the my skirt as a civilian, outside, as well as the battle uniform, and then the camouflage, because we're all these things when we're in the military, but no one really sees us.
Right.
So this, I had to tell the world, this is us. We wear so many hats, and we, go through so many different things with the different scars and trauma that I experienced in the Army. That it was just like I said, it was this expression, and so it just catapulted me to tell who I am and find out who I really am.
I can already tell, Lachrishsa, that I did not schedule enough time today because there's so many questions. I did not know that you were homeless. I did not know that you had to struggle from that. You know, the people say, "Oh, these guys get out of the service. They get this money, and then they just live and go and do government work, and they make 80, $100,000 a year, and they live, life, wonderful life. This whole fairy tale." And people don't understand the huge leap that is from military life to civilian life, and there's a
Yes.
lot of guilt that can be associated between the two because you felt like you were talking about your battle buddies earlier. You left your battle buddies,
Yeah.
and that's the number one thing you don't do. And so you're struggling with those internal questions. But before we get too deep into this interview, I want you to take a few moments to tell people how to get a contact with you and some of the services that you provide. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about your new mission that you have been, that you're on right now.
Okay, well, my name is Lachrishsa Parker. I am the proud owner of Parker Executive Consulting. You can find me on LinkedIn, as well as I am the president and CEO of my new baby, the nonprofit. It's called Covered Heroes Foundation Incorporated, and you can find me there also on LinkedIn. It's Lachrishsa L. Parker at gmail.com and or on LinkedIn. And you can contact me with coveredheroes.org. I will be on their platform. You can find me there as well. And I'm also on Instagram and Covered Heroes. And so we're slowly but surely coming to hopefully a city near you. So I'm so happy to give that shout out. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate
You
that.
are quite welcome. Well, this interview has already taught me a lot more about you than I knew. And because I'm like, oh man, she's got the Hall of Fame. I just saw her at the Army Hall of Fame, and I want you to take about a minute with that because I want to get into your new thing. But I saw you at the Army Hall of Fame, so tell us about that as well.
Yeah, I did. I was inducted into uh, the Army Women Hall of Fame. That
Folks, I'm gonna interrupt her for a second. I was at a conference with her, okay? And that's what I'm telling you, sometimes you don't know who you're sitting next to. You really don't know the gems that you are sitting next to. But go ahead, please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt that, but I just had to say that.
You're so funny, Daniel. Yeah, that I was a class of 2022.
Okay.
Super excited about that. Didn't know that and of course it's for the Army women. And so someone I was working at the Women's Memorial at the time, and not many women of color was there, and of course, someone said, "I'm going to put your name in," and I'm like, "Not me." Of course, not me. And
Wow.
so it just happened, and they didn't even tell me. They just said they just got my resume and everything, and they put this in. They said, "You are supposed to be here," and I
Okay.
was like, "Are you sure you're talking about me?" And so we don't talk a lot about ourselves. We just do the
Right.
work, right?
Right.
And didn't want any recognition, but she was like, "No, we need to recognize you." And
Lachrishsa, I got to have you come back. I got to have you come back. I'm going to talk about that for half an hour just by itself. What are you doing now? Tell us about the veterans that you're helping regarding your dental and everything else. I want to hear about that because we're running out of time and I don't want
okay.
to not get a chance to talk about that.
What I'm doing now is that I have started a nonprofit. It's called Covered Heroes Foundation
Okay.
Incorporated, and so it's to serve women veterans in providing dental services to our women. As you know, it's over 2 million women that have served in the military,
Okay.
and not a lot of the women are transitioning to the VA hospital or getting their benefits, or just they're leaving and exiting and leaving their stuff on the table, the
Right.
benefits on the table. And so in order to qualify for dental services at the VA, there are 7 categories, and many women do not qualify for them,
Right.
or they don't want to utilize the VA hospital because of being re-traumatized from any of their sexual harassment or military sexual trauma. And so providing Covered Heroes, it came to me long ago, but I finally stepped out on faith to just say, okay, Lord, I'm tired of running, that we need to make sure that our women veterans are taken care of. When you talk about whole health, they're missing oral health. And so you can't talk about whole health without talking about dentistry or oral health. We know that oral health is like the avenue. Everything goes and you're eating, and diseases and everything comes from your mouth. And so with women, it's a higher rate, because if the infectious disease goes in your bacteria of your bloodstream, can cause you heart attacks, can cause the heart disease, can cause, the brain to shut down and also die. And so we don't want that. And you're talking about women that are, if they're pregnant, that with being pregnant, it can affect the baby as well. And so I am on a mission to making sure that all of our women are getting those services with partners of dentists and dental clinics, providing those services pro bono, free of charge, and or
Wow.
if you have any insurance, we want to make sure that we are reaching you, because how can many women take off of work, where they're at, we'll come to you. And setting this up is just a heart filled with mine and a passion that God has given me. And I'll tell you this, Daniel, when it came to me, it was like a light bulb, and it was time to start the chapter. And Covered Heroes came from see over her. If you break it down, you have the see over her. And God
Okay.
just had given that to me. And when he gave that to me, he also gave me a scripture, and it was Psalms 46:5. God is within her, she will not fail. And
Okay.
so I knew it was my time. I knew it was the purpose that God has given me to make sure that not one, but many other women are getting these services and being heard and seen. And so that's my passion. That's my mission. That's my march and purpose, is to make sure that women are seen and also
Right.
heard, and also with the oral health, making it a holistic health and overall health for each and everyone. And it's for everyone too, to making sure that we're good. And it's
Right.
really an increase in the underserved population, which many veterans go back to it being in the underserved population.
Right. A lot of people don't understand the whole trauma regarding military service. I mean, I remember I stayed away from the VA myself for 10 years because I just could not bring myself to
Yeah.
go to a military hospital. When you go and you have the opportunity to go to a hospital of any nature, but especially a military hospital, you see the price of freedom. You see women veterans with no with one leg or an
Yes.
arm blown off or who's been shot. I had the opportunity of working with a woman veteran who was she used to install phones, and so she was putting cables up in Iraq, and she was shot out of the cherry picker.
Mm.
So a lot of people don't understand the real value that women bring to the military, and just how much they're needed and how much they're utilized. And so when you talk about trauma, regarding even obviously the sexual trauma, things of that nature, there's far more trauma, even more than that, just going and being in that whole environment, because once you get out, you have to get out because it's just so much guilt that's
Yes.
associated with it. And if you've ever had to fire a weapon at someone or drop a bomb on someone, there's increased trauma with that. But I'm so glad. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that if you're not 100% disabled, you're not going to get dental care
That's right.
from the VA. So a lot of people in the civilian world, oh, thank you, oh man, you just guys got it easy. You got all this money, you can get all your health taken care of, and it's not like that at all. But Lucretia, I feel like I've done a terrible disservice to you today that I did not know, and I want you to promise me that you will please come back. Please come back.
I will, Daniel, and thank you for your service. Of course, and thank you for spotlighting, especially for Women History Month, the month of March, as well as it's a blessing because we're in Holy Week, and it is a winning Wednesday, and this is great. I appreciate you having me on, and I will come back.
All
And
right.
look, we'll be talking about some military things, Daniel.
All right. Well, that sounds great. That sounds great because I really want to go into this Hall of Fame. I really want to delve into more of the people maybe that you have worked for,
Yeah.
and why people need to call you when they're trying to get to these upper level people, because you get one chance to make a first impression, and you
Yes.
don't want to fumble that when you're trying to obtain one of these clients. But we're going to let you go for now. Please don't run away. We still want to talk to you later, but we're going to say goodbye to Lachrishsa, and thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. Man, I tell you what, I get these guests on, and everybody's so humble. And until you get a camera on them, you really don't know the gems that you're actually speaking with. That is a tremendous story. Anyone that has fought through being in the military, homelessness, and then has the ability to reach and look outside themselves to say, you know what, somebody else may be struggling with something greater than I. But one of the things that I was always want to say in appreciation is that thank you for stopping by and checking us out here at Spheres of Influence. People you need to know. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. I know you hear that line all over the place, but it is really true. And so we're very blessed to have you. We're thankful. And if you have any other guests or any other types of guests that you would like to see, please let us know, and we'll be more than pleased to get them on here for you. And of course, a little plug for me, if you need a loan for your small business, or if you have a business that's generating $10 million a year, we can help you with that. Thank you, and you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.